Hi, Gordon.
Good evening, Michelle.
How are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Waiting for the snow.
Yes. Bro?
For the snow.
Oh, the snow. Yes, we are. Yeah, I cleaned up my yard. I'm all ready. Parked my cars on one side of the driveway so I can snow plow one side, then move the cars over and, I use the snow blower.
That's a smart idea. I might do that because I park mine like this. I should
Right.
put one behind the other.
Yeah, and then you can do one side and then move the cars over.
Yeah. Smart man there, Gordon.
I have my qualities.
After the meeting, we're gonna go move my car so I can do that.
You're getting a little wing wing on your vocal here. Oscillation.
Huh.
Yeah. That's all right. It's not too bad. Marcia called me back and wanted to sort of apologized a bit. I was going to tell her to do the same to you, but I didn't. I was just too busy. And she said, put her name back on the case. And I said, I'm on it. Don't worry about it. So, she gets a little worked up.
Yeah, it's all good. Whatever.
Yeah. All right. I'll try and remind them not to get too needy with you. I mean, I don't want to cut them off completely, but
Yeah.
I guess so. I'm going to try and keep tonight short. There's not much we got to do. We got two discussions. We have nothing to vote on, nothing. Because the only one I'm ready for is the use case. And I just didn't write that up because that requires just a little bit more. I was going to do it this morning. I said, oh, and I got to look up the 5 criteria for the use. And I said, so, it wasn't.
Do you want me to send them to you?
No, I have them. I just, when you get used to doing a certain thing, the other one is easy. The book won't bump. And I said, oh, wait, this one's a use variance. So, my brain started bumping into walls and I said, all right, I'll do that. It's not important.
Yeah, no, we just have those two. And I don't remember what we do for the extensions. I could not remember for the life of me the other one that we did.
How long do they have to start the work?
May 13th.
That's a year, right?
May 13th is the year.
Did they put something in writing or?
Yeah, they sent us just an email, which I sent out to all of you.
I guess we could give them another year.
I just don't remember what we have to do. Do we have to, do we just vote on it and then I just
We'll just vote on it pending, the vote carries pending administrative, checking administrative duties on that.
Okay. Yeah, they just sent us an email.
Hello.
Hey, Marcia.
Marcia.
Gordon, did Jude call you after we went by John Joy?
I got an email. I read it briefly. But we didn't, she kind of had some concerns, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have similar concerns?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I also, when I look back, they have more than doubled the square footage, but I didn't see any building. Well, maybe with the original building the new house that there was a new septic because the original house was
all right, we shouldn't, Jude's on now. We shouldn't discuss any further without opening it up.
Okay, because it's a quorum now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi,
Hey,
Jude.
Jude.
We had to stop talking because you got on, and we weren't talking about you. We were talking. We were talking about a case, and I realized as soon as you showed up, we had a quorum, so we couldn't continue to discuss.
Oh.
We were discussing case that you went and looked at.
Oh, okay.
With Marcia. Just
Okay.
she was starting to. Well,
It's like Sherlock and Holmes, if you want nicknames for us.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you
It
got
might
some.
just be the three of us. Michael was asking, he had a conflict and he has asked if there was anything pending to vote on and he didn't, so
Okay,
mhm. So I said, we have no votes.
okay.
And we don't even have we don't even really have a new case. We just have, well, I guess the three of us, we have a quorum, so we can discuss the Zamalone case and
Okay,
that's about it. We're just gonna probably do that and the other thing, I'm not gonna even open the other cases up for discussion because most of us, the three of us have been having it and we can continue
okay,
correspondence on that.
okay.
So
Hi, Michelle.
7:00, so let's do it.
All right.
Yes, I'd like to call the Woodstock Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for February 24th, 2022 to order. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Ayes have it. We have a quorum. I'm Gordon Wemp.
Jude Salato.
Marcia's willing.
Okay, I would like to submit the minutes for approval for January 27th, 2022. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, minutes are approved. I'm also calling for approval for the minutes for February 10th, 2020. Do I have a
Second.
second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Discussion, please.
Yes.
For the Willow Woods section of that, and I know there was a lot of talk, Michelle, but I don't know if somehow we can clarify in there because I did recuse myself from that case, but we were talking about process and how a use variance works. So I don't know if there's any way to make that clear that my comments were not specifically about that case, but generally about ZBA procedure and process. So I don't know if there's any way to do that, but I just wanted to clarify that. I went back and I listened to I watched the YouTube video, and I think I was pretty clear that I was talking about generalization.
General, yep.
I just want to make sure that that doesn't get confused, so.
Okay.
Okay,
What
well,
I'll
I would
do
move to
is-
make that change to add that maybe in the minutes, that it was just not on the case specifically, but on procedure.
Just
Maybe
and I'll also write it in today's minutes that you made a notion to please, say that it was in a general spectrum, not just specifically to that case.
I think a lot of the discussion was about the general idea of a
Yeah.
use variance, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Martin's here. Hey, Martin, you wanna chime in your name? Because we do the
Yep,
roll call.
I'm here, Martin Mills,
Okay,
Martin.
welcome.
present.
Okay, so we don't have a lot tonight. We don't have any previous cases being voted on tonight. I see we have some listeners in that, so if they're waiting for any decisions tonight, none will be forthcoming. Some due for waiting on word from council, and others because they're not done. So with that, we do have a new case in our first week in March, our first meeting in March rather, which I think is the 10th. ZBA case 2204, St. Gregory's Church. It's for signage. Does anybody like to take that on as a rep? Okay, Jude. Oh, Martin, you want to do it with Jude? Can you guys work together on that?
Sure.
Actually, Martin, we can let you be the lead and Jude could be your consult if you'd like.
Sure, sounds good.
And I could point you to, well, Jude, I could help. We did one very similar with actually another church in town. So we could kind of
Just
point you.
Following suit, yeah.
Yeah, I could make that stuff available. We could dig it up. That was the Methodist church, Michelle. That was a couple of years ago.
Okay, I'll look it up and then I'll send both of you the previous decision so you can take a look at it.
Great.
Yeah. That'd be great. All right, thank you. Okay. Also, we would like to reopen ZBA case number 21-09, Dan Zamalong and Camilla Grust. Request for an extension of their granted variance on 5/17/2021. Do I have a second?
Second,
Favor?
Aye. Do they have to request a variance? They have until May, right? I mean, don't-
Yeah, but I guess they want the extension because they realistically, May, they won't get it done by May.
right,
Yeah,
but I'm-
I've spoken at length with their representative, Ima, and we were going back and forth because I didn't realize that the date on the actual signature from the town clerk's office when it was registered was May 17th. So they have until that day. Is it May 17th? Yes, they have until that day, but she said it's not going to happen. They're just in talking to contractors and everything else at this point. So that's why they're requesting the extension, because they know that, because if it did surpass that time, then they would have to apply for the new variants and everything else. And so that's why I said, get it to us as soon as possible. And as soon as I told her that, she was sending me the email.
Well, I would like to move to grant them a 1-year extension pending administrative duties that we may not be aware of that any paperwork that needs to be so written to facilitate that. No second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so be it. Great. We have it's unanimous. Okay, and then with that, I'd like to recess case number 21. Actually, I'd like to close case number 21-09 pending any further duties that we may have to perform. No, say, okay, in favor? Aye. Okay, so we just want to discuss, we have on our agenda tonight to discuss representatives on each case. I've had individual discussions with Jude and Marcia on this. It's been done a lot before on the ZBA. It's done the planning board. It's helpful to me, so I know who has or has not written their thing, or if somebody's, we have a lot of things going on, like Joseph is representing a case he looked at today, which we may, I haven't spoken with Joseph in the last couple of weeks, but I know he's had some, tragic family business that he was dealing with. So, and wait, I think he's
Oh,
connecting.
You just come on.
Hey,
Hey,
come
Joe,
on.
we're just talking
Hey,
about you.
Joe.
Hi,
Hello.
Joe.
Hey, Joe,
Hi, guys.
you
How
want
are
to
you?
chime in? Full name?
Me?
Yeah,
About what?
Joseph Bellick, give us your name, that,
He's
roll call.
he's a wonderful guy, and you should follow his lead.
Does he know his name?
Joseph Bellick.
All right, it's official. He's here.
Woo, he's here.
Okay,
Well, I will speak to that a little bit. And I think that, we've had some conversations, and basically, I think in some ways, the fact that it's on the agenda and it says this is so-and-so's case is somewhat misleading to somebody who doesn't really understand how we do things. And I feel like it's everybody's case. In some cases, I think you and I spoken, it makes more sense for one person to go out and look at it because it's pretty
Mhm.
much straightforward. And in other cases, everybody should go out and look at it. But all
but
of
we
us
still
can
have
vote.
but we
We all
still
vote.
we still have a point person though.
Right. Well, we have somebody who kind of takes responsibility for making sure
Right.
that everything gets completed, but that might be misleading to people. And I think and it makes it difficult, because I think I said to you at one point, people are going to panic if I get assigned a case. So maybe we have to think about a different way of doing that. Maybe not quite so publicly, that we have a internal discussion about who's going to take these.
Oh, if it's made public the moment that we assign a case right here. It goes in the minutes. It's live. So it's not a secret. It's all about the sunshine laws here. We do like to keep everything out in the open, and it does nice to have somebody who is responsible for it. Otherwise, because they're the person that's writing it up, they're the person that, But we just have to filter things. You have to educate people. I mean, this is many people's first time doing things, and it's not that hard to educate them. They say, hey, you can't call me at 2 a.m. to talk about your case. You can't even call me really to talk about your case especially after the public hearing. It shouldn't be done so much.
I agree with Jude, and in light of, the last case that I was writing up, given the circumstances, I felt that, all eyes were on me by the opposition to the case that I wrote up. And that for me, it seems like between us would be a better way to do it than have it be publicly that this is my case. Because
Well,
that's what we're saying
unfortunately,
now.
unfortunately, I'm gonna speak for the town right now. We work in a glass case. And everything that we do is public information. Everything has to be transparent, no matter what. I mean, I could get foiled tomorrow for the emails that go between us. I could get foiled tomorrow for text messages that I sent Gordon.
Right.
So
Right.
that's, I mean,
Well, I guess my point is somebody takes responsibility for composing the decision. But it's misleading to think that that person wrote it in the sense that we're all come to some sort of decision together.
Well, I am the person who signs it. Your name does not go on that decision. Marcia's name does not go on the decision. I sign it.
Right.
I'm the
The way
administrator.
it appears publicly now, it says Marcia's Willings case, Jude
Right.
Stilato's
Representative,
case.
it's you're the representative.
But it doesn't say that. It says.
now
case.
it does, after you pointed that out, Marcia, now, if you look at the corrected agenda, it says Gordon Wemp's case representative. From
Okay,
now on, I will include the word representative if that's the issue.
that's
I mean,
great.
Mhm.
You okay with that, Jude?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that we do that on the agenda. We didn't used to up until a couple of months ago. And I understand, Gordon, it helps you with all that, but having been on a variety of different boards and understanding that sometimes it's really difficult to be in these positions, not everybody really wants to be so out there.
Well, the
And we
planning
are-
board,
we-
the planning board does it. Didn't even do it when you were on there?
We usually just volunteered to, well, the decisions were not written by members of the planning board.
Mhm.
No, but on the agenda, it states on each case who the representative is.
We didn't do that when I was
Oh.
there. We would just.
Ever since
basically say-
Therese,
Okay,
Yeah.
well, what we would do is we would just say, who wants to go take a look at it? And sometimes obviously we could only go 3 of us. And we would, we'd volunteer to go and some would go, we tried to share the responsibility of looking things over. But I just understand what it is to be in the spotlight and that sometimes some of these things are really difficult and you don't want the spotlight shown on you when really the responsibility is all of ours.
Well,
on
the spotlight is just momentary. It's just a word on the page. You're not sitting there. We don't take the case to you every time and ask you to lead it. You don't sit there and do, go over it verbatim. We may ask about the site visit, usually that's very helpful. You take pictures. You say, I went there. There's woods behind it. There's nobody for miles. It's good to go. And we say, great. We take your word for it. And there's a certain amount of responsibility. And, I guess it's tough when you get a contentious case,
Yeah.
but you just have to remind them, if these people get contentious, say, like right now, you can just say, listen, this is before council. I don't wish to talk about it right now. Everything's been said at the meeting. We're moving forward. We're discussing it, internally and we're moving forward, so if you need to get off, it's not, each one of us is one vote. You have to remind people that. I've been saying that I said that all the time when I was on town board. I said, listen, I'll tell people a lot of times, I say, I'm with you, but I'm one vote, and I can do what I can, but I can't promise you anything. I'm, and I can be swayed by other information that may be learned later on. We're trying to be fair here, and you have to remind people that we're just trying to do the right thing. We're it's a balance between your neighbors and you, the town, the laws, the spirit of the law. We're working all these factors together to try to come up with a fair solution. And you just have to remind people that and also that we're just volunteers. We slip up now and then. We're just trying to do the best we can to help everybody, and we understand people who need to have projects done. We want to help people to be able to do what they can do, but we don't want to do it at the expense of lawsuits and other people being burdened with unfair decisions. So it's I don't know. That's my little soapbox for now.
I was just trying to take some of that, and I understand where you're coming from, and I've taken a lot of heat over the years, and I'm used to it, but perhaps not everybody has the appetite for it, but still wants to participate.
Jude, is your concern that like the applicant, I don't want to say would retaliate or whatever, but that if they know that you're the person doing it or someone else?
No, I think it's the perception that perhaps one person is orchestrating a decision. And that's what I just would like to avoid. I mean, Marcia and I have talked about this, and and sometimes it gets really uncomfortable for people. And so I was just trying to, take us a little bit away from that. And I understand what you're saying, Michelle, about the sunshine laws and all that kind of stuff. And I do understand it, but I don't think, and I think it can be perfectly clear who goes out. Like I've been lately, some of these cases have been a little bit more complex, and I've tried to at least go on a site visit. It's not limited to that one person's responsibility. We all can go and we all can talk about it, but it's felt a little bit more intense these last couple months because we've had some more interesting cases than we usually do.
Well, maybe we can come up with a new title. How about site coordinator?
There you go.
Love it.
Something just takes would you feel more comfortable, Marcia, with that?
Because sometimes even the field rep does not write the decisions if they get jammed and somebody else does.
Right.
We do pass that back and forth.
And we help each other out.
I'm fine with that, just so I kind of know who was the person who,
I like that.
okay.
I think for me, especially with the last case, and given the type of correspondence we've received in the opposition using one's title, I felt like, the spotlight's on me, like you better make the right decision because it's Marcia's Willing's case, and it didn't feel
No,
good.
I understand, and I'm not going to pretend I understand what it's like to be a woman, but I do understand women have a history of being targeted for things, and I'll just say that. I'll try to be sensitive to that.
I like site representative. Is that what you call it? Site
coordinator.
I like that.
Me too.
All right, that's
Much
sort of
better.
ZBA speak, so nobody even knows what it means. So
Well, I think it just has to be very clear that, it's not, it has to be a majority rule, whatever.
I mean, you're really just a lead on the case in a sense.
Right.
I think Jude made a very good point about some cases, like the property we went to look at today, 54 John Joy Road. That to me is complicated and probably would suggest that we look into it more and we maybe make site visits to that, because what I'm confused about right now is,
wait,
it's okay to talk about
Wait,
this.
are you talking about a case or what?
Yes, she is. Yeah.
Let's not. Could you, if you have any concerns on this case, Joe is our site coordinator on
Okay.
it. Perhaps maybe Jude, you sent me an email. I don't know if that was just to me. I didn't look.
I wasn't sure if Joe was back in
Right.
here, so I will happily send it to you. And I actually texted Joe and said I'd be happy to.
Okay.
Yes. And Jude and I have
Joe,
spoken
can I
once about
send
it.
you an email as well then?
Yeah.
I went out
Yeah,
there
and
with Jude today.
yeah.
Okay.
And I think we're on the same page, but yes, reach out to me.
We just have some other questions, Gordon, which, I'm kind of hoping that you will take the lead on.
On what?
With the building department.
Yeah,
Is
we have
what?
some questions that concern the building department before you can.
Another agenda item? I don't know. Go ahead. What? Yes?
Okay, I'll bring up a general question, not specific to this case, which is you and I have been talking about accessory structures a lot, and the zoning law and all of those kinds of things. And so my concern is how do you define these structures?
Well, I thought that was our meeting we were going to have with.
That is, but but for us, okay, we'll talk about this further.
Well, we're gonna have a meeting with hopefully the Supervisor McKenna and Councilperson
Right.
Laura Ricky, and discuss some of the ambiguous language we have with accessory dwellings. We have the 1,000 square foot.
Right.
Amazon, stop. Amazon.
And I
Triggered the cube.
It actually more questions in regards to that have arisen.
also too, what determines a barn versus a studio?
It's just,
Do we know?
these are some questions that we have that maybe Marcia and I can get together and we can enumerate them for you. And you could pose some of these questions to the building department.
Aren't
Not the building
accessory
department.
unit, aren't all the accessory units defined in the building code? If I remember correctly from way back when, types of,
there's the
like
building
studios can't have bathrooms with showers, you can't have livable space, et cetera, et cetera. Isn't that all in the building code? Current building code?
the zoning law. Gordon, can we just maybe open that and talk about it for a second? No.
It's open.
Okay. So then I started thinking about, we're talking about, can we talk about this case?
Excuse
Or
me?
not? Can we talk about this case or not?
No, be a little less
Okay,
specific.
All right. Okay. Okay, so we have studio buildings, which technically in the zoning law are called artist studios. And somehow we've really gotten away from that. Then there are guest cottages, which we know sometimes are functioning as accessory apartments. And then we have a structure that some people are calling a barn that has something in it called a powder room. And a barn to me is something that's used for agricultural use, right? So what's the difference between a barn, a studio, a guest cottage? I mean, all of these things are getting very blurry. And in some cases, we're talking about square footage limits that might be workarounds and, that kind of thing.
Right. Well, the thing we're seeing is somebody wanted to combine a studio and a guest cottage to get the 1,000 square feet per, almost like where they're really kind of the same thing, but now you're taking two of them and making a 2,000 square foot building. We had the one with the Shapiro case, which is withdrawn, so we could talk about it. And they wanted to, basically move through a 2,600 square foot building by calling it a guest cottage and a studio. And my thought was, well, then, gee, you can just add accessory apartment to that too, in a garage. You got a 3,500 square foot building, and along with your 4,500 square foot house, and
well,
Huh?
there was one that actually, did go through, the one on Reynolds Lane, I think is a combination guest cottage and studio. That one actually did go through, and I think it's actually more like 2,300 square feet. I don't exactly understand what happened there.
Right. So we're just trying to clarify some of this language. It seems a bit ambiguous, or
Right.
whereas you can have 10 buildings, but we have to pour through a little more. And it happens with laws. They get layered sometimes, and some language is not corrected, and so they can be discrepancies.
Or as I've said, no one ever envisioned certain things happening, and 20 years later they are.
Right. There's a lot of money coming to town, so people, are doing things that really hadn't been done much before.
Right.
Each one was done for different reasons, and some of them weren't changed along the way. We had guest cottages because originally you could have a guest cottage, but you couldn't have a kitchen in it.
Right. You still can't.
But then we changed that to accessory apartments. We made that you could put a bedroom and you could have one accessory apartment. So they added that law. And then somebody added the studio, but a lot of this was not really thought out together. So we're getting kind of hit with this. And it seems to be, we're going to be getting hit with it more and more now.
Yeah.
With this monster buildings that could be developed on property. So we really want to take a good long look at it, get our stuff together, and then maybe run it by legal and see what, maybe we should do.
Yeah. So
I
Or,
think
give it to
too,
one of the committees
for
to-
Joe and Martin, I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but there's a building on Reynolds Lane that not only is a combination of a studio and a guest cottage, I think, but it's really an industrial looking building that is towering over the neighborhood, and it's raising concerns. So if you're ever in the neighborhood, take a ride down Reynolds Lane. If you're coming from the 212 side, it's on the left. Can't miss it. You might just want to take a look. This is what's raising a lot of these concerns.
Yeah, so Jude and I we'll be meeting with them. It won't be a quorum, so it won't really involve, but we'd appreciate anything from the rest of the committee here that,
I have a
Welcome.
general question too. So if someone is requesting a variance for a setback, and we know that the structure they want to put in has an additional bathroom, do we need to know where the septic leach field is before we grant a variance, or is that something that would go back to the building department?
no, that's on them. Well, we have that last paragraph that all building is to follow local codes and safety, blah, 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 blah. So, we're not, they still have to do the right thing legally. They just.
So they're asking for the variance first, and then they would get the actual building permit and,
Right, because a lot of times, like, we're used, the planning board has something, they have to run it by us first before they can continue on. They handle
Right.
all the parking and the this and that and things that
Right.
would affect, but without the variance, they can't move it forward.
in one situation, it just seems that the original structure that was on the property has doubled. It's a small lot. There's wetlands involved, so I guess where I'm confused is by putting another structure and another bathroom, where does that, if we're giving a variance, where does that fit in with the current septic? So that would be the building department then that would investigate
Actually,
that.
the county, the Department of Health,
Okay,
but the building department oversees it, but they have to go through different channels, But, yeah. Okay, well, is there any other business tonight? No? Okay. So without exception, I would like to adjourn tonight's meeting. Okay. All in favor? Okay, great. So go get them.
All right, guys, have a good
Thank
week.
you, guys. Have a good night.
Good to see you.
thank
Take
you,
care.
everyone.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.